Okay, good evening, everyone. Uh, we are live on YouTube, and okay, all of us are live on YouTube. Okay, we are gathered here to discuss about inquiry-based learning. So let me share my screen. So all of us here who are gathered, we want to share our best practices. We want to tell you people who are watching us and share practical strategies so that you can teach content, but instead of being the sage on the stage, you can be a facilitator and make the students be engaged in the class. So instead of attending a boring lecture and covering materials, okay, we will look at uncovering meaning and making students understand why they are learning what they are learning. Okay, so this is the main purpose of today's session. So what shift are we making? We want to move away from students listening passively to us. Okay, and we just don't want to rush through our curriculum, make students memorize facts for tests. Okay, right now most of the teaching learning happens where we focus on how much is taught, and we are not looking at how deeply students learn what we are trying to teach them. Okay, so therefore we have to move from traditional approach of being the sage on the stage to inquiry based learning, where you are acting as a guide on the side. Okay, so inquiry-based learning changes all these things, and students will actively participate in your class. Okay, they will ask you questions, they will solve real-life problems. Teachers will not just give them answers, but they will guide them in their learning. Okay, so when you incorporate inquiry-based learning strategies, then we'll focus on the true understanding of what is being taught and not just finishing our topics and finishing our portion. And at the same time, when you are using inquiry based learning, we also teach skills to our students. Okay. So, why is it important to teach through inquiry based learning? Students discover things for themselves better, and they learn better if they are curious and if they ask questions. They remember it for a longer time. Okay, also, by asking questions, students will think critically and try to solve problems, which we will give them in terms of scenarios or case studies. Okay. And when they do that, they will learn to think, and they will also learn to check facts. So they will hone their research skills also. Okay. And this is very important for today's world, so that the students are aware about what is happening uh, around us. And when we do inquiry based learning, the students lead their own learning. Okay, and therefore there is ownership of learning. Okay, and they feel better about themselves. So the first strategy that we are looking at for moving away from traditional learning to inquiry based learning would be question driven exploration. uh, instead of just asking instead of just telling a statement or explaining them something about history, instead of telling them about the civil war was caused by economic and social tensions, what you can do is you can start the lesson by asking a question: what conditions make a nation willing to go to war with itself? So when you ask this question, the students will be forced to think and not just receive information. Okay. And during this time, what you need to do is you have to give them primary sources, data, resources from multimedia. Okay. And allow them to work in group and investigate and debate on the topic and construct new understanding. So what we are doing is we are also incorporating constructivism here. Okay. So as a teacher, what you will do is you will circulate around them and you will ask probing questions and you will guide their thinking. But you will not give them the answers. They will find out the answers from the sources that you're giving. And the lesson can conclude with groups sharing their own findings. And then we can have a final synthesis of what we have learned during that lesson. So this is one. I would invite Ashima to share her example, how she does it in her language acquisition class.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I am a German facilitator, and I'm going to just show you quickly that how the inquiry based works in my class. Uh, so first we start with let's share. So I'm going to share obviously first that fun experience that we had recently. So I'm going to talk about that. I recently went to a concert and everybody is then working in a group. They're moving around in the class and then talking that what actually what fun experience they've had. So we're talking about experiences here in my language class. Going further then, what did you learn from these experiences? So they're going to talk about, again, it's a round of movement in the class, and they're talking. So, oh, I learned tips of hiking. Should I tell you some? And then we're learning new vocabulary through this. And we're putting all the words, they're coming to me, what is that word called in German or probably in other language? Then we talk about the book genres, or we talk about some dance forms, what all dance forms are in different culture. And we can talk so many things just by posing a question and moving around in the class. And then we keep adding the questions like what is the location where this fun experience happened. We can explore a lot of places in the city, in the foreign country. We can talk about the continents, countries, other places, city, main city, central place. So we can talk about it's happened in a restaurant, and through which they're learning new vocabulary. And going further, we can keep adding the questions that describe the people who were with you. So if you were with your mother, so they're talking, okay, yeah, I was with my mother, but my mother is very strict. And then we learned a new word called strict. Okay, my friends, they were very funny, my classmates. So they're learning all these vocabulary in a class by just adding the questions through mind map. So we're creating this mind map all the time, and it's with them, probably in a class which is already going to be there, and they're going to see it again and again and grasp this vocabulary over the time and remember with the events they have already experienced. Then again, there was an addition of a question here that where would you like to go in the future? What is your plan? So they can say, I want to learn skiing, read a comic book now, attending a concert like you did, ma'am, and so on. So we will again work as a group, not as an individual here. And we'll keep asking questions. If somebody is having a different, if somebody proposes me some questions, so I'm going to add a question in that bubble. So that's how my inquiry class works. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you, Ashima.
thank you.
Anybody else wants to share how, if you use this kind of strategy in your classes?
So recently, hi, my name is Sudha Rakesh, and I am a facilitator for TOK and economics in the DP. So recently, I came across a workshop as professional development where we used question formulation technique, which is a program that is run by the Harvard Graduate School for Education, which encouraged teachers or any facilitators to use prompts, pictures to encourage critical thinking. So you just give a prompt. So this last time I used it in my grade 9 class where I was teaching them about money and banking. And I did not tell them what am I talking about. I just showed them a picture of a yellow circular coin, and they had to formulate questions of different magnitude. It could be anything what they wanted to talk about. The intention here is to get them to start thinking critically at most as what do they want to learn, what are they associating themselves with a particular object, and widen their depth of knowledge that they want to get from a particular unit. So this was just a hook, a startup activity that I did with my class to engage them into looking at questions, because question formulation is one of the most difficult tasks for anybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sudha, for sharing. Now, the second strategy that we can use in our classes for inquiry based learning to happen is collaborative problem solving. Now, here, what you can do is you can present the students with a authentic problem. Now, when I say authentic, it means real life. Okay. And for example, in mathematics, it can look like design a playground that maximizes play area within a fixed budget and safety requirements. So here you can see that students will have to think, and in real, this is a real life situation, so they can also see how math is connected to real life. They will work with budgeting, area, geometry, numbers. Okay. In science, they can look at this particular question: how can we reduce plastic waste in our school cafeteria? So they can look at plastic pollution, maybe biodegradable materials. So they can look at this. When while doing so, they can work in teams to research, calculate, come up with solution. And what you can also do is, instead of just giving them this particular question, you can also give them guiding questions and resources from where they can get the answers. Okay. So what will this do is that it will help build collaboration skills, and it will also integrate the content knowledge. So you are not just teaching syllabus, but you are also teaching skills along with the content that you're teaching. So anyone wants to share about what strategy, if they have used this strategy in their class?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to add from the perspective of language and literature. Thank you for sharing that beautiful mathematics example. So, what I would do in my class is hand over each group of students a short narrative text that has a built in challenge inside. For example, a character is stuck in a dilemma, like two friends fighting or someone facing peer pressure. How can a decision go wrong? But it is how they are going to stop the story and make it right. So there is decision making involved here. And I ask them to become the writers in the room and solve the problem creatively. So, what they are going to do then is they will identify the core conflict, predict the character motivations, suggest multiple solutions, and decide together on the most believable solution, resolution for the given challenge. Then they can present about what were their choices and what conclusion did they arrive at. And as a class, we will also get to understand how different interpretations are leading to different endings. That can also lead to a short debate on what outcomes are more textually faithful versus more inventive. This is how this would look in my language and literature classroom.
Thank you. Anybody wants to add something from their class?
Hi, my name is Sindhu. I'm a PYP facilitator. We had a similar problem solving thing that came up in our classroom where we had to collaborate with different sections in primary, where there was a blank space that was left. Which was not occupied, and the children had to come up with their own plan on how they are going to make that place productive and how they are going to make it a playground or a small workplace for them, or a workstation for them to work. So they had come up with the problem solving, and they were using the critical thinking skills. They were using a lot of materials on how to come up. They had created the map. They were using a lot of infographics. A lot of things were involved, and they actually came up with a plan on how they can use that empty space and how they can actually come up with something very productive for the classroom. So they had come up with the entire design, planning, and everything was, and it was quite productive at the last.
Thank you. So I would love to attend such classes than have a teacher give me a lecture. So thank you for sharing this too. Okay, so this was about collaborative problem solving. The next strategy that I would like to share is about Socratic's seminar. So, in a Socratic seminar, what you can do, the teacher will have to do some homework before you do this activity, you will have to select a text which is rich and or a video or artifact which will give rise to meaningful questions, and through the questions then the discussion can happen. Okay. The students will read the questions independently, and they will themselves prepare more questions and observations, and they will be ready for discussion uh, during that seminar. Now, what you are going to do is you are going to arrange your students into two circles, concentric circles. Okay. Students will lead the conversation. Those who are in the center will lead the conversation. Those who are outside will listen to the partner whom you are facing. Okay. And note down, they would have a rubric, and they can note down if the partner has started a prompt, answered a question, answered a follow-up question, or put up a new question. So all these notes, you will have to give a rubric to them, to the people who are sitting in the outside circle. And this way, you will find that all the students are participating and engaged in your class. Okay. And at the end of it, you can close that seminar with a reflection on both the content inside as well as the quality of discussion that took place. Okay. So what you are doing is, when you are having this type of strategy of Socratic seminar, you are not a lecturer, you will facilitate the discussion, and students will engage in the discussions, and they will directly uh, share their ideas with their peers. Okay. I would like to show you a video of the Socratic seminar.
Let us examine the question together, my friends. And if you can contradict anything that I say, do so. I will be persuaded.
Can you hear? Is it audible? Okay.
It is, it is.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about one person's gain is another's loss. Our first question, is it possible to gain something without having another person lose?
You can, because it's not always going to be a loss. Sometimes it could be a
Socratic
gain.
seminars succeed when students exchange ideas and teachers take a decidedly back seat.
Is it fair to profit from someone else's loss?
The questions are the catalyst for discussion. The ultimate goal of Socratic seminar is to give students the opportunity, time after time, over time, to share their ideas, to be able to articulate those ideas.
Today we're going to start day one of a 2-day Socratic seminar. Why do you think we might want to do a Socratic seminar?
If we question stuff that doesn't really have answers, we can hear everybody else's thoughts about it.
The Socratic seminar is a powerful teaching strategy. It improves comprehension and challenges students to think and ask questions. Questioning contributes to personal reflection, critical thinking, and meaningful discussion.
How you look at it or how you see it.
Teachers begin the Socratic seminar process by preparing students with background knowledge and tools for discussion.
So let's talk about the different types of question. Now the graphic here is a door. Who can describe to me what a closed question?
Watch how teacher Katie Reynolds guides her students to consider the power of questions as a means to consider big ideas.
Okay, who has an idea of what a big question might be?
I think that like a big question is like a question that involves lots of thinking.
To begin the Socratic seminar process, students review how questions elicit various responses.
It is a closed question. I want you to make a C with your hand if you think it's a closed question. If it's an open question, I want you to make an O. If it's a big question,
After
I want
students
you to
practice writing, discussing, and posting types of questions and how they are answered, Katie makes a transition. She introduces a topic for the Socratic seminar. It's an essay titled, The profit of one man is the loss of another.
No one can profit except at another's expense.
She chooses this as a touchstone for all discussion because the topic enriches the learning that is already taking place in the classroom.
For me, the hardest challenge is always choosing the text because it all starts there. It has to have enough in it so that they can get these big ideas out of it.
Teachers may choose essays as a focal point for a Socratic seminar, but poems, historical documents, scientific articles, or a short story are also good choices. The key is to enhance existing learning opportunities.
Scientists tell us that the birth and growing of each thing comes only from the decay and death of something else.
After reading the essay aloud, students engage in another pre-seminar activity. They suggest a number of potential seminar discussion questions, and then vote on their top picks for the actual seminar. Choosing the seminar questions in advance helps students to prepare their answers ahead of time. With practice, students' ability to generate and select good seminar questions improves.
When I'm working on questioning with my students, what I really want them to draw from the experience is that they understand that a good question has bigger implications. Why would this be a big question?
Because there can be a ton of different answers and a ton of different perspectives.
In addition to proposing discussion questions and reading an assigned text, students complete a pre-seminar reflection activity.
Be sure to consider multiple perspectives and how different people may be affected in different ways.
Let's recap. The Socratic seminar is a teaching strategy across content areas. Preparation is key. Select a text that generates big ideas. Students choose and review seminar questions in advance. Design a pre-seminar reflection activity.
Did you know that Socrates, the father of Greek philosophy, actually wrote nothing down?
Okay, so I will share the video link so that you can further watch the video if you want. So any questions about this, the Socratic seminar? I think it is a good tool, especially when you have TOK. When you give them some things to read and then give them questions where they can talk about it, right? Then the big ideas or whatever they are thinking can be, you can get information and make observations of what they are thinking, right?
Multiple perspectives, yes.
Yeah,
yeah. We do that as part of TOK exhibition as well, wherein students have to present their exhibition objects, and then they have to explain to the visitors as what is it that they are trying to communicate through that object and how that object is connected to the prompt that is there in the TOK guide. And of course, they listen to the point of view of their visitors as well, sometimes which are students, on a different, open-ended question. Open-mindedness is encouraged when they are looking at things. And when teachers also speak to them, there is a wide range of perspectives that is shared during that day. So, I mean, not only on the TOK exhibition day, we do it as part of the mini exhibition as well, when you're practicing it as well. So yeah, we do it in a different way, and we can choose to kind of tweak it depending upon the age, depending upon the topic, and the style that you want to conduct it, depending on the space as well that you have.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Ms. Sudha. Let us go ahead with our presentation. 1 minute. Okay, so that was about Socratic seminar. The next strategy is about learning stations. What you can do is you can set up different stations around your classroom, and each station will have one part of your topic. It will focus on one part of your topic that you want to teach, and the students can move in small groups from one station to the other. So at a particular station, they can be there for 15 minutes, and then next 15 minutes, like that. Or you could do 10 minutes, right? Each station will have a new task. They will have to look at data, maybe do a small experiment if it is science, okay, solve a problem, or build a model, or debate an idea. So when you keep varied tasks at the different centers, it will make learning fun. And because you have different types of learners, maybe those type of activities also you can put in those learning stations, right? Where you have to read something, or to listen to something, or do something, experiment something. So the students, as students are moving between stations, you will also be moving along with them, and you will be observing the students and asking them questions instead of giving answers. Okay, so one example that I have given over here is for grade 5 sciences. What make things sink or float? That is the main question that we are looking at. Buoyancy, density. So what type of learning stations can you create for teaching this particular big idea about sinking and floating? In station 1, you can test different various materials, okay, wood, plastic, and get put a tank of water there, and the student can just predict it before they put that particular object or material in the water, and then they can record their observations and tell why they think that the material sank or floated in the water. In the second session, you can have students measure and calculate. Okay, so you can use scales, and you can give them measuring cups where they can determine mass and volume of certain objects. And if they know the mass and volume, they can calculate density. Density is called mass upon volume. So you give them the formula, and they can do the comparison of the different objects. Okay, the density of the different objects. In the third station, the students can experiment with liquids. Different liquids also have different density. Oil, water, salt water, fresh water. Again, they can look at density of liquids. And in the last question, what you can do is give them some research work, where the students can use books or go to websites in order to research about Archimedes' principle and understand the big idea of buoyancy. Okay, and then they can summarize their understanding, and they can explain why objects sink. So there are 4 different stations. As they go through the station, they will be learning about uh, why objects sink, or which objects sink or float in a particular liquid. Anybody wants to share something?
So
Yeah,
I would like, can I go
Can-
ahead?
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
Ashima.
Okay, so I'd like to share. Recall a learning station activity where in a language acquisition, we had make the maps at the 5 stations. So there were 5 volunteers also. So we had some clues for them. So they had to actually reach from a location to some location, and there was a proper path, and they had to tell, okay, go right and go left and go straight, cross the street. And so that's how we were learning the all the preposition and also the description of the how to tell the way in a language. So that I performed in on a learning station. So one had a map. So we were like doing 5 maps, and there were volunteers who were giving smiley if you've done it correctly. That puzzle, it was mixed with the puzzle, but with the 5 learning stations. So there were huge maps which were kept, and we were just moving across the class. Everybody was, getting a smiley. So that's how I could do it in my language acquisition class. Thank
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Ashima. Anybody else? Somebody else was wanted to.
Yeah, I would like to share because a learning station I have used a lot and
Mm-hmm.
it works very well for science. That is
Mm-hmm.
my experience. Has been my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I have used learning stations for mixtures in MYP classes. So, like you have told the plan, my plan was also kind of similar, where I kept the first learning station was about observing different type of mixtures and noting down the observation. The second learning station was making them, like I made them see the video and then connect their observation to the information given in the video. And the third was about discussion of what type of mixtures were shown and what are the properties of those mixtures, relating the information given in the video to the learning station one that they had observed in the different type of mixtures that were shown. So besides that, also types of reactions also I have used I have used this learning station strategy to make them explain the types of reaction as well. So it works very well for science classes. That has been my experience.
Yeah, even I have used it in my
Yeah.
science class.
Yeah. And one more experience that I would like to share is we created one mystery room in our school. So where we have used three different subjects as different learning stations. So periodic table they used to solve one of the clue, which led them to another puzzle which was based on English, which led them to the third puzzle which was based on geography. So it was like three different learning stations of three different subjects created in the form of mystery room. So it was really good
Nice.
experience that
Nice,
even
nice,
children
nice.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
but
nice. I remember we did orientation of different subjects, like a murder mystery, where they had to go through different learning stations, solve a particular question, and then they had to go to another subject. So where, if it was bio, it was something related to DNA and all that. Yeah. So that was very interesting. In mathematics, they had to do some calculation at the end, and then they could catch the murderer. So yeah, that was a unique thing that we did for A level students in order to make them understand about the subject. Yeah. Anybody else?
I have also tried a similar stations, ma'am, for
Mhm.
ecosystem for primary children. So they were learning about ecosystem. So what I did was my first station was outside. So they had to literally go outside and look at the different ponds and the ecosystem, what they see outside. And then they come back inside the classroom, and then they differentiate between living and non-living, organisms and all of that. And then the next station was that they had to connect what they have seen and then come back to the next station. And then they would see a potted plant with a different ecosystem, which I have already kept in the next station. So there I bring about the visual thinking routine. What do you see? What do you think? And what do you wonder? Then what makes you think so? What makes you say so? So they have to write there in the visual thinking routine. There I used to keep sticky notes for each child, for each station, on their reflection on what they have to do. And then they come to the next station, and the next station would be a video related to what they have seen in the previous one. So it's all a connection for the tuning in, what I used to do continuously for all the stations. And in the next station, I used to give them a task card, like a puzzle card, where they have to, match all the puzzles with the relevant, with the different terminologies and stuff like that. So that's how I used to do for my grade, for my primary years, from primary children. And I think so it was. And then later on, and towards the tuning and the next stages of the inquiry cycle, they used to go and do the question pencil routine. So where they would, come up with higher thinking skills and their critical thinking skills, and the higher order questions would really pop up from the primary children. And I was actually shocked when I see the kind of questions that they come up with. And I was just a facilitator facilitating the entire thing, and they would actually come up with all their wonder questions, with all their curiosity. And that question pencil routine was really very productive in my classroom. And
So if you have a template, could you share it in the Global Classroom WhatsApp group?
Definitely, ma'am.
Yeah. So then the secondary, because see, the secondary teachers struggle with inquiry based teaching. So if we have such strategies, then it's easier for us. I always tell my secondary teachers that if you want to really teach through inquiry based learning, then you have to go and sit in the prime PYP classrooms. Then you can actually get to see inquiry based learning happening there. Okay. Thank you, Sindhu, for
I
sharing
did
it.
enjoy doing this activity in my MYP grades, ma'am. I will not take your word for it. This was a lot fun when I did it with my MYP grades, trying to explore different genres and different station. And the activity was so fun. exploring poetry on one station, and exploring the thriller genre on the other station. And we also took up a mystery, put up a mystery station there. And I
Mm.
gave a clue card to them. What makes the take? Give me. I asked them to give me a prompt so they can give me a question in return. And
Mm.
one station was a science fiction also. So it was super fun to do it.
Mm. Acha. But then you were also a PYP teacher, so you don't have to feel bad and say that I did it.
Oh, I must say, I've just organically moved.
Yeah, yeah. But the experience in the PYP helped, na? I'm
Yes,
trying
yes.
to teach my secondary teachers how to do inquiry based learning and not be boggled with completing the portion, the syllabus. Okay, it is mainly why I have this session is that don't just think about completing your syllabus. Okay, think about what the students are going to understand and learn from your classes. It's not about marks, 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 and content, content, content.
I'm
Yeah.
adding to that, though I have PYP experience, that
Mm.
still is a question that I have every day morning. Though I am
Mm.
prepared and though I have some beautiful thinking routines for my students to reflect on, end of the day, I have that in me that, okay, did I move a little ahead? Did I cover up a little bit? Which is not actually
Hmm.
present in the primary grades.
Ah. So then here you use exit ticket, है ना?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So the fifth strategy, which I think now Sudha can share because and even Nina can share, is about case study analysis. Okay, especially in higher classes, you can give them real world related problems to your students. Like in biology, I gave them a problem about bioweapon. Okay, imagine that there is a bioterrorist attack. Then how are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I told them at an imaginary location in one country there is going to be a bioterrorist attack. So then some students had to research question on the particular organism that I gave them, microorganism I gave them about the microorganism itself. Some had to research through the lens of a doctor. Some people had to think about becoming an administrator who will tell you about the disaster management system. So, yeah, would anybody want to talk about case studies?
Right. As you invited me, I would like to go ahead and
Yeah.
talk about this.
Yes.
Now, case studies can be done in multiple ways. Over the period of time that I have been teaching, I have used a real world example, a newspaper article, just put it onto a chart paper and give it to the students to try and come up with as many questions and related points, economic terminology that they want. You can tune the activity based on what you want. If you want an economic theory out of that article, you can find an article to nudge your students to find kind of do a search into the article to come up with questions. So I have done articles based on that. What I would talk about today is something that I've done differently in the recent times, is where I have encouraged students using um, write-ups. I would give them write-ups. They know the topic, the big umbrella topic that they're doing, but I'm not nudging them on anything. I just give them articles to read and some infographics. Okay. And this is used for them to come up with questions. What are the questions that they're going to ask based on that? So the infographic will have about countries that are trading within that particular article and countries that are non-members in that particular trading block. So the intention is for them to identify that when you are part of the trading block, there are different outcomes. And when you're not part of the trading block, there are different outcomes. Without me prompting them to do anything, I give all this information to them, expect them to read, research, and come up with their own answers for what is the article and the infographic telling them. And I give them a 30 minutes to 35 minutes time to do that. Then I pass the same thing to another table and they would be getting another case study to look into. Okay, so this is for about a 1 hour class. But the both two tables would be exchanging their case studies with each other. At the end of the day or the next class, they are going to talk. What did they understand from the infographic that they got in first and second? This is a way for them to share with each other what they learned from the case study and the infographic and what they put in together. Now, it's always possible that there would be children of different caliber, and you need to support them through differentiated learning because they are in year 12 and they need these content for their examination as well. So when I see that these students, there are somebody who is not able to meet the expected routine, I create some worksheets with some prompt questions with the same case study to nudge them to be able to get to the same level as that. Of course, I cannot push them, but these are opportunities for them to get better as they progress through their learning curve with an intention to enjoy the subject rather than just the marks. That's me for case study.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nina, would you want to?
Yeah, I would like to share two examples over here.
Mm.
So, one case study I used based on Haber's process in DP chemistry class, which was related to TOK. So, I brought in the ethics part in the TOK with making them how Haber was able to contribute towards production of fertilizer, but at the same time, what ethical dilemmas as a scientist, like how they face all these ethical dilemmas. So, Haber and one other scientist where the condition or the situation during that era, one was ethically correct and one was, although according to him he was ethically correct, but it was wrong for the whole world. So that was one topic of discussion we had using case studies of these two scientists. And second case study I have used in MYP3 classes, where I gave them about the case study was I have taken from one of the research journal which is meant for lower grades, and it talks about how greenhouse gases are affecting the our earth, and it is giving them an idea about how the temperature has increased over the period of time, how nations calculate the range of temperatures and all. So how the production of greenhouse gases is connected to the increase in temperature, that case study was given to them. So they actually calculated over the period of time how it has increased to 2 degrees rise or 1.5 degrees rise. So that was very successful in making them understand that this is how the greenhouse gases which are emitted are seen in the form of temperature rise around the world. So that is how I have used it. And definitely it was helpful for them to, because it is connecting to the real world example in both the cases.
Right, true. Yeah, so case studies are good examples where you can bring in authentic learning. So whenever we use the term authentic, it would be relating to real life. Okay,
Yeah.
whether it is authentic assessment or authentic learning. Yeah.
In
Thank
fact, I
you.
also remember, sorry, I'll also
Yeah, yeah,
continue.
yeah,
I
Shima.
also remember doing one activity where I did it like Sudha ma'am. So one day, one section of the group was doing the India, the garbage, again, how we manage garbage in India and how we're doing it in Germany because they're doing it really well. And then we exchanged. And then we had a group discussion on that thing. What I had to do is I took a, obviously it's a German language, so I took the paragraph from the magazine itself, but then I had to redo the paragraph for them because it is quite tough for any level to just read everything. So it was all in German, so we did like that. Exchange the info and how then this real problem can be solved.
I
We
know
did that
I'm
way.
going away from the topic, but Ashima, do you use Notebook LM?
Yeah, I used to use now. Lately, I've not used it, but yes, I
Because over
used to.
there translation you can do very
Yeah.
easily. And there was another app
But
that
then in the German class, we don't do the translations. We are
nay, nay,
giving
nay, for
passages.
you to give passages to read, na, for you. If
Yeah,
there is a good write-up in English and you want it in German for your student,
yeah.
okay? So
Thank
now
you.
with AI tool, it's very,
So
very easy.
it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead with our session. The last strategy that I would want to share with everyone is about students making content. And you can use the jigsaw technique in order to do this, use this activity. When we say that students make content, what do you mean? Students will make the videos, podcasts, and guides to teach topics to their classmates or to younger students. Okay, so this could be a service as action activity also. The students can create infographics, presentations, or models in order to explain complex information, and they can build or digital items, build real or digital items to show their understanding by doing. So here the student themselves will create the content, and that's why before they do so they should really know the subject. So what you can do is, you can first do a direct instruction giving information to them, and then give them task where they can become experts and they can sort out information, pick examples, and explain the ideas clearly. So how I have done in my class, in my grade 6 bio class, science class, is that Mm, when you teach the different organ systems, so I used to teach uh, respiratory system, digestive system, circulatory system, excretory system. So when these systems are taught, instead of teaching all the systems on my own, I used to make groups of students for each of the systems, and they would be the experts for that particular system. They will do the research work. I would give them prompts and questions on which they are going to research and create information on. Then they would create the presentation and then present it to the whole class. So a group of 4 students would present about circulatory system, another 4 would present about digestive system. So that way each group became the expert on that particular topic. And in order to know if everybody has understood the same, the all the systems, then I used to do a Socratic seminar. Okay, where I used to put students in the center, give them questions to discuss. So those students who had not done a particular system, um, so suppose the students who had already done circulatory system and respiratory system, I would give them digestive system and excretory system to discuss, so that I know that okay, they have understood and they have paid attention when the presentation of the other 2 systems was being done. So that way I used both the jigsaw method as well as the Socratic seminar in order to explain this whole unit. So instead of me teaching them, we did the students made content and they studied and they taught their peers about the particular systems. Anybody wants to share about if they have used this particular technique in their class?
I have used it, ma'am. Can I share?
Yeah.
So, in DP chemistry class, I have used it for the topic called as giant covalent structure. So,
Mhm.
I divided the students and I allotted them the topic, and they studied the topic, they prepared their presentation, and they explained to the whole class. And I ended the class with the exit ticket, which
Okay.
had the questions based on all the topics that they were covering.
Mm.
So, it was again a very useful strategy for me because students themselves are researching on a particular topic and helping the peers to make them learn. And the exit ticket was based on physical evidences of the properties of the topic that I gave them. So when it comes to giant covalent structure, it is about graphene, graphite, diamond, and all these different big compounds which make very giant structures. And based on their topic, I created the exit ticket, which was based on the physical property of these that they were discussing. So whether they have understood each other's presentations or not, I got to know from the exit ticket thing that I created.
Nice, nice. Okay. I use Socratic, you use exit ticket. Very nice. Anybody else have used jigsaw? So when you discuss these things, then you get ideas, na, how you can use the different strategies in
Yeah.
your
So
classes.
in a language acquisition, so we get different IO. So I generally give a different IO and everybody is preparing a proper video. And then
Mhm.
we showcase in the class, what all elements they've used in their IOs.
Mm.
And that's how they can talk about them. In fact, I remember one more incident where one more learning plan that I did it for very for young students
Mhm.
who just started with the language. but they were like 11, 12 years old. And they were like, ma'am, will we start again the ABCD in German? Because they have to. So I
Mm.
said, forget about the ABCD. Let's make a song on ABCD. What song do you like?
Mm.
I'll give you the ABCD of German language and let's play. So they all laughed at that moment, believer. So
Mm.
they all actually sang and they made a tune, they did a beatboxing, and they were like, till date, when they meet me, ma'am, I know that song till date. They remember each and every pronunciation of an alphabet where we started, but it was a very fun class, although we just started and they were like, ma'am, ABCD. When they said ABCD, I was like, I have to change the atmosphere of the class immediately now.
Mm.
So it was fun. It was really fun. I didn't believe that, just an ABCD would uh, be so fun in the class, but just, with this jigsaw presentation where they are making the song Believer, beatboxing and whatnot. It was fun. It was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So, we will end our today's session with this particular slide where we are telling all our viewers and plus the teachers who are here that what are you going to do from next week after you have learned these all strategies that we are discussing over here. How are you going to make your class inquiry based learning and not a boring lecture? So what you can do is you don't have to do everything at the same time. All six strategies you don't have to use at once, but you can pick one new way that you can teach. Try it in one of your lesson or in your unit. See what works well and what you can improve. Now I know, like how Miss Nina said, she did jigsaw with an exit ticket. I did jigsaw with a Socratic seminar. So you can use different strategies in order to make your students learn better and be more engaged and interactive. You can talk with other teachers. So that is what we are doing now, right? We work together, talk with each other, share our best practices, help each other with problems, and we will celebrate our next steps ahead. So changing from lectures to inquiry based learning doesn't mean losing order or having students make noise and disturb the class. Okay, it means trusting your students that they will learn by doing with your help. Okay, and making the class learning inquiry based will help to make them understand better, get deep learning, more interested in your class, and also learn a lot of skills. Instead of just doing test, and lecture and worksheets, you can make your classes more interesting. Anybody wants to have a last note on this before I ask my followers to like, share, subscribe my channel?
So I think being a IB teacher or a learner helps us to innovate every time. The same thing that we have done, maybe a case study or a jigsaw puzzle that we did years ago, has a different face today because over the years we have tuned it towards to make it right for our classrooms. So what you read on a blog or things like that, it doesn't have to it for the beginners. Yes, it's a great tool, but you don't have to go step by step. You can adapt,
Hmm.
change, do it according to what your class and what your gut feeling talks about. And I think you have to trust yourself when you are being a risk taker. So that made my last
Yeah.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Because the video that I showed about Socratic seminar over there, the students were only in one circle.
correct.
Whereas when I did it, I put two circles, right? Two
Yeah.
concentric circles with a rubric. So
Mm.
yeah, you can tweak your strategy based on how it works in your classroom. So thank you all of you for coming to this session. I know it was very sudden in the morning. I just put there a message in the group and then you all were the risk takers and said that okay, let me come. And I too sat and created this particular PPT on Gamma. So I use AI a lot. Uh, and The last 3 days I was at the conference, DIDAC conference. Over there also it was mostly about skills and AI. And I can see that whatever the IB was telling us so many years ago, now we are looking at those things, and I see the education in India, okay, moving towards skill and using technology. So, yeah, so thank you so much for coming for this session. And like I said, I want to promote my channel. So, like, share, subscribe. I can see that there has been 6 more people who have subscribed during this particular session. So thank you, those who have subscribed and are following this particular channel. We really hope to help you understand teaching and learning, and learn strategies that we commonly use in our classes, but you may want to try it in your classes. So thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.